Like, I don't know what people do, and I don't know what they talk about. I don't know what they eat. I think are people eating like rabbits or something? Like, where are these people getting food from? You know, where do you find it? I go to the grocery store, but there's never anybody there. So what are you guys subsisting on? What are you, fishing from a river? I think it's a fair question until I see one of you motherfuckers at the grocery store. You know, what's strange is I was at the grocery store and I actually did see somebody from work who I never see there. And I thought that's interesting that she would be here. It's really interesting because I've never seen her here. I've seen a lot of things here. I see fish, I see macaroni and cheese, I see chicken, I see cheese, but I don't usually see coworkers. It's not like people you might know. It should be like an aisle, like you look up what's in this, like bread, pastries, and then there's a section that says people who you might know. And if you're worried you might bump into someone you know and you have to stop and talk to them, if you think someone's going to see you first, you can go in that section. And technically, if they do happen to see you, if you're in the section, you're legally not allowed to interact. That's the whole point of the aisle. So as long as you're in that aisle, you cannot be interacted with by somebody you know. If it's someone you don't know, then you can be. Can be a little confusing. But that's what I love about the grocery store. It's always a new experience. You just gotta figure out how to do it. That's life. Coming up on the morning zoo, we got Truck Charles. Truck Charles coming in on the traffic helicopter. Truck Charles. Oh, well, how's it looking there on the old I-75 this morning?
Yeah, it's a pretty good morning here on the I-75. There's no cars actually, so you can just walk down the freeway like it's completely free of cars.
Wow, that's an interesting kind of way of speaking you have there. What kind of accent is that?
I'm from Dinosaur Island.
Isn't it hard to immigrate from Dinosaur? I don't think you can live here legally, can you? They have pretty tight restrictions because they're afraid that dinosaurs are going to come here, right?
I'm not a dinosaur, I'm a human being. I mean, I'm able to speak English, so obviously that's not...
Okay, well, I'm gonna kind of challenge that claim. You do seem to be kind of losing your words a bit, kind of like how I would expect a dinosaur to lose their words if they were just speaking English for the first time. Something a little bit sus about the traffic guy.
Listen, man, I don't make a lot of money doing this, so I'm gonna take this shit from you, man. I work too goddamn hard.
No, listen, you don't have to get worked up. It's completely fine. We're all trying to work together. We're all just working for the weekend. Am I right, Truck Charles?
Oh man, we should grab a beer later. What do you think?
I'm not going to a bar with a fucking dinosaur. Also, you're an illegal immigrant. Or a dinosaur. I'm not saying those are like equal, like neither are necessarily bad, but I'm just like, it's a fact, and if I'm gonna be associating with you, you know, I don't want to be hanging out with some fucking Tyrannosaurus guy or something. You know, I can't see you, I can only hear you, so I don't even know what you look like. Like, I've never met you before.
Alright, well, you know, I think my helicopter is about to crash, so I'm just gonna bid you adieu, and we'll see what happens.
Alright, well, hang in there, and I'm sure, you know, statistically, no dinosaur has ever died in a helicopter crash. So the chances of it happening are very low. Even though the situation is as it is, I think he's gonna be fine. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think this is gonna be the first one. And, you know, if he is a dinosaur, he probably has a better chance of surviving. Because he's big, so I'm not really... Either way, I'm not worried about it. I didn't really like him that much anyway, you know? I wasn't gonna go out drinking with him. I got Slurp Von Lipstick fucking hitting me up every 20 minutes of my life. Not to ask me to hang out, but he asked me to, try to diagnose like different stuff that's happening to his body, and I'm like, I don't think that I'm qualified to tell you. He sent a Christmas card that was just like a lot of like documents from his doctor, just like to let us know what's going on with him medically. He didn't write anything. He didn't put any sentiments in there. It was just a manila file folder. Whatever happened to like the spirit of Christmas? Whatever happened to Santa Claus? Remember that guy? That guy gets so famous like 1 month out of the year. You know what? So does a fucking groundhog. There's no reason to have an ego about it. You ever met Santa Claus? Bumped into him here and there, and he's kind of got a big ego about it. You know, I'm like, hey, so what's new with you? And he's like, oh, we're just making a million billion things for every single little fucking kid everywhere. We're just doing that, and it's incredible. And I'm basically like Jesus Christ for doing this. I'm basically better than God. God doesn't give you gifts. I do. And he was also shit-faced, I should mention. So he's just difficult to deal with. He's a loose cannon. Like, I'm pretty sure one year he's just gonna be like, fuck you, nobody's getting presents. I'm Mormon now. He leaves Mrs. Claus. He leaves the North Pole. He just ends up in, like, Troy, New York, like, living in an apartment, like, just selling weed. It's like, what the hell are you doing, Santa Claus? And, yeah, maybe there should be more than one Santa. I don't know. Look, I don't like to get into politics. But I'm just saying, you know, he's been holding it up by himself for a long time. So, by the way, if you think Santa Claus isn't real, have you read the CIA documents? Some of the Santa documents they have, they're going to declassify them and make them public. So we're going to find out the truth about Santa Claus. And I'm sure they're going to give us everything that they know on the subject. The subject being St. Nicholas, the ho-ho-ho man. So I hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope that fat fuck came to your house, and I hope that he made your year. I hope you got some kind of item that you can make use of. Maybe you can put it in a closet or something, or put it in a drawer. It'll look really good in a drawer. And it's there now. Then it's yours. That's how I think of it. Now, I just have more objects. And some of it I asked for, and some of it I needed. But some of it I didn't ask for and do not need at all. But I got it anyway. And you're like, Santa Claus, this is exactly what I needed. And sometimes he brings you saltwater aquarium tablets. You say, thank you, Santa, this is exactly what I don't have a saltwater aquarium. I'm sorry for lying. I'm sorry for making up something. What isn't made up? You know, what haven't you made up? One day, I hope that every thought that could ever have been had has been had. So the day will come that there are no longer any new thoughts. Where do you get a new thought? Where do you go to get a new thought? Because it seems like you can think infinitely, like you could just, and if you entertain the possibility that you could do that infinitely, then where are you getting the infinite ideas? Probably in the goop center of the brain. You know, the goop center, where all the good goop is. That's where all the cool stuff happens. That'd be cool if that's what neurology was like. They just point to a certain part of the brain. They're like, this is where like cool shit happens. This is the part of the brain responsible for making you put bugles on your fingers when you buy a bag of bugles. There's a part of the brain specifically in every single human being that makes them want to do that. You can suppress it, you can try to ignore it, but that's to ignore your animal nature. And, you know, human beings, if you think about it, the invention of bugles is kind of like the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because for a long time before bugles were invented, man had the inner desire to put bugles on his fingers, but nobody had invented bugles yet. It was only when bugles were invented that he suddenly understood his nature. So that's what's going on with me. I'm gonna bring out someone who needs no introduction. It's not Jesus. It's someone, well, definitely worse. But when it comes to like guys who are obsessed with time, I would still say Slurp on Lipstick comes in second to Jesus, because Jesus talked about time a lot, presumably. He's like, whatever he said. So yeah, Slurp on Lipstick, he just doesn't beat Jesus in any category. I can think of a few categories where I beat Jesus. I'm much better at piano, probably. And, well, here's the thing. I can actually put bugles on my fingers. He couldn't do it. You can read the whole Bible. There's nothing about him putting bugles on his fingers. So, that's me 1, Jesus 0. Suck it. So, coming out right now, the eternal host of Time Check, Slurp on Lipstick, everybody. Okay, a little warm welcome. It's the same exact welcome I get every single time. It's weird. It's incredible that the invisible audience in here is like so choreographed that they're able to make the exact same sound every single time I enter and exit. Maybe it should sound different. Maybe there should be like the sound of like birds or something, or like a bullhorn. Something just to liven it up a little bit. You know? Okay, so let me try this again. So I'm gonna exit, I'm gonna re-enter. We're gonna do something different. So I'll introduce myself, ladies and gentlemen, please, Slurp Von Lipstick. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's the kind of shit I want to hear when I come out. Now I'm pumped. So, the time of night that it is coming up next. But first, I do have to read this sponsorship for golf. The sport of golf has bought ad time. So I have to read this copy, so here's what it says. It says, golf, it's good for your spirit, it's good for your soul. Larry David likes it. Golf. This segment brought to you by Golf. Hi, welcome back to Time Check. To know time is it's important. You have to know what time it is. You know, if you were late to your own birth, that wouldn't have worked. So the time, it's 9:57 p.m. The date, don't worry about the date. It's a day just like any other. You just have to take every day as it comes. Live your life as if you're about to die 5 seconds from now. You can scream for your mom, that's just like living. A lot of people say you should kind of push it out a little more. Be like, okay, why don't you pretend like this is your last month on Earth? And I say, no. It's not good enough. It's not enough. It's not going to get the point across. I need to do 5 seconds. So if you ever bump into me and I'm like screaming and saying like, I'm just like one of those like really glitchy NPCs that's constantly reacting to something that's not happening. That's me. Well, anyway, so there's a lots going on in my life. As just my new book, Slurp It Up. It's I'm launching a new lifestyle brand, the Slurp Von Lipstick Lifestyle. I'm coming out with a new shoe, just one. We only sell one shoe per person. You don't get the pair. The thing is, one-legged people, they don't get any hand-me-downs. The hand-me-downs are always going to be hand-me-downs to someone with 2 feet. So we're just making one shoe at a time. We're just putting them out there. And we're putting them in a box that makes it look like we're going to sell both of them to you. But we're not going to. It's a lie. We lie to people. And it's illegal, but we don't care. And so you'll be in the store, the clerk will put 2 in the box, and then right as you're paying, they'll sneak in under the counter, pull one of the shoes out, and then put the lid back on and give it back to you. But then they'll be like, well, who the fuck needs one shoe? Because they can't return it. Well, we just say the clerk who was working at the time died. So we don't know what you're talking about. We have no idea. But we're sorry that you only got one shoe. And so we'll just lie. We'll just keep lying to you. That's been me, Slurp Von Lipstick. I'm getting a call from, yep, there he is, President Biden calling. Yeah, and I forgot to mention that. So I met President Biden, and he said that he's a huge time check fan, because he said he likes to like stay on top of what time it is, and he said he doesn't care if it's not really the correct time. Like, even if he's listening to a podcast, he's like, I just like knowing what time it was, you know, it's important to me. And my dog, as he tears my face off. But I guess I'll have to pick this up. Hello, Mr. President, are you there?
Put those marbles away. No more marbles.
Mr. President, did you have something you wanted to discuss? Do you want to know what time it is?
Get out of there. Come on. Get those marbles out of there.
Alright, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and have to hang up on the president. I didn't think I'd ever have to do that. But it sounds like he's got his hands full. But, hey, it's been real. It's been real great. It's been really good. I wish I had more time. But I don't. We do have the closing segment was brought to you by tires.com, by used tires, by new tires, by the oldest tire that has ever existed. Bye. Okay. Alright, everybody give it up, yeah, come on. Of course, it is time for my famous 2024 annual forecast, where I will be making my predictions, which have been proven correct with 95% accuracy. I predicted there was going to be a sequel to Avatar. I predicted there was going to be a sequel to Star Wars. I predicted there was going to be a sequel to the first Lord of the Rings movie. Now, you might say this should have been common knowledge, but I didn't know. I just guessed. I said, I bet they're going to pick up where this story left off, and they're going to make another. They might make as many as 3, and then another shitty one. And so here's what I think is going to happen in 2024. So I'm thinking, starting tomorrow, nuclear war. All out, just everything. And then that just pretty much is the rest of forever. And then fast forward like a few million years, super intelligent worms have evolved out of the radiation and mutations. And they learn about us and our history. And they say, man, I wish we knew it. I wish we had YouTube. Instead, we just have awareness of all knowledge, which we obtained access to by telepathically connecting with the electromagnetic field. But we wish we knew what hard seltzer was. And then after that, the super intelligent worms will develop nuclear weapons of their own and just do it all over again. And but the good news is, after another few million years after that, the worms that come out are going to be even smarter, and they're going to figure out how to not do the nukes. So those are my 2024 predictions. I'm just thinking, my mind just wandered to like snacks in the kitchen. I purchased peanut butter cracker sandwiches. Peanut butter cracker sandwiches. They offer you sustenance. They're there for you no matter what. Unlike me, I'm not there for you. This isn't Friends. This is real. We're not friends. You and I, we are business associates. You as a listener and me as this, Me is this. This is just a business deal, and I'm making so much money off of you because I'm living rent-free in your head. Because I'm saying things like, George Washington liked to wear a little wig, didn't he? And everybody gets really mad that I say things like this. I mean, that's just an example. I suppose I've never said that, but it is true. He did like to wear a little wig. Kind of interesting, isn't it? They all did, didn't they? What was up with that? You know? I'm an important man. Time to have white hair now. I think everyone on the Supreme Court should still have to, like, have those wigs. I think everybody should be up there fucking Benjamin Franklin in it. Gotta wear a monocle. I don't think he had a monocle. He might have used one on occasion. To, like, look closely at, like, a tit or something. Like, oh, yes. I think he did that. I really think he did. That makes me want to watch John Adams. It was a good show. It was a good mini-series. Sorry, it's a mini-series. I don't want to say I was watching a mini-series. I want to say I was watching a show, like a real man, like a full-on show, baby. I'll show you a miniature series. I'll show you a series of a very small series of things, if that's what you really want. You know, I need a good show that has like 15 seasons or something that I've never watched. Or I could just, you know, just kind of like live my life. That show has enough seasons to last my entire life, so I'm set. And I don't have to subscribe to a bunch of different streaming services. It's just it's free. The problem is it's persistent. It's not always that good to watch, but I don't know, it's better than watching like fucking Bridgerton. So yeah, if you had a dream about me, let me know. I'm trying to insert myself into people's dreams. I'm trying to become like the Hat Man or like the Shadow People, but it's just me in a normal corporeal looking form. But I'm just like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, cool dream. And I'll just say that regardless of what the dream is. I don't want to like feel like you're being judged by me. And I'll tell you to go to this website, and I write it down on a piece of paper and I hand it to you. And you wake up in bed and you feel something in your hand and you look down and there is that piece of paper. And do you know what it says on that piece of paper? It says www.yahoo.com. So that was brought to you by yahoo.com. Yeah, everything up until this point was actually ad copy for the Yahoo ad. And it was all leading up to that moment, so. Alright, well, as the great Benjamin Franklin would say, hasta la vista, baby.